Three, two, one. Live from Long Island, New York. Hi, Agnes. It's Love, Death, and Taxes. Another great episode. I think that you are gonna really enjoy this, people. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing? What's going on?
Happy Friday. How you doing?
That's right. That's right. It's another happy Friday. I'm doing well. Okay, we're all right. Next week is Thanksgiving, right? We're looking
Yes.
forward to. We're still in small business season. We're looking forward to Black Friday from a marketing perspective, right? Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. It is crammed. It's a lot of work. Um, and everybody's going to hang out with family, I guess, this week, next week. Is that what you're
So
doing?
let me ask you, are you going shopping for Black Friday? You're gonna stand there by midnight, be at this
I'm,
store's door, buying a
I'm
vacuum
going
or something.
I'm going to be looking at everybody's websites and making sure that they work and that everything sells and that things aren't falling off, that the emails go out on time, that everything is supposed to be happening. So for this next week, that is my job. My job is to make sure that people have an offer, that they are making more offers, because that's how you make more
Yeah.
money, and then putting something out there so that people see it and they know that you're and they can find it and actually take your money, right? That's the thing. Everybody's like, I want to be on the internet and I want to make a lot of money, but half the time they don't have a product or service to sell, and the other time is they haven't made it easy for people to give you their money, right? That doesn't make any sense. You got to be able to give them their money. But yeah, today's topic is wild. This is not even something I knew about um, until I started talking to you, right, about tax resolutions and that sort of thing. We're going to be talking about common tax liability scenario, specifically how you can get relief from innocent spouse tax relief, right? That's what we're talking about.
Relief for a divorce.
One or the other. Oh my gosh. Great. Well, so as soon as we come back, that's what we'll be talking about, ladies and gents. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Love, Death, and Taxes. Our topic today is going to be the innocent spouse tax relief. Could it save your family? And I assume when we say save your family, we're talking about, yes, financially, but also could it actually help you, save yourself? Because, if you're in a situation where your spouse is really upset about some money decisions you make, you are really up that wrong creek without a paddle. Yes.
It can save you. It can save you for the future.
Mhm.
When you can um just get rid of the debt and the spouse who is creating problems.
Okay. Wow.
You know, it's just being straightforward.
It's
Yeah,
not mincing anything.
different situations. I experience different situations. So
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about that. Why? What is the problem? Just give me an example of someone who has found themselves in this tax liability scenario. Like, what situation would require someone to step away from their spouse in order to resolve their tax problems?
well, so let me give you a scenario. We're
Okay.
having a married couple,
Okay.
and both of them are working.
Okay.
Let's say the wife is working on for employer for someone and bringing W-2, meaning her taxes are being deducted straight from the paycheck, and
Right.
at the end of the year, she's practically up to date with everything, right? And
Good.
the husband is self-employed, having his own business,
Hmm.
and if for whatever reason his taxes are not up to date. So now
Right.
they're filing together, right?
Okay. Hmm.
At the end, well, when you have the end result of taxes is they own taxes, they own money.
They're going to owe
Right?
money. Yes,
They
right.
own money because one of the spouses didn't pay their share, right?
Didn't file and didn't pay. Right.
Yeah. So they filing, and there is, surprise, you own the money.
Mhm.
So usually in a situation like this, there's depending either if he's, let's say he's not going to pay it.
Right.
In situations like this, when it happens one year, usually the second, the third, the fourth year is following, and they filing together, but
Right.
they continue owning money.
Okay.
So when IRS start knocking to their door and putting lien on their bank accounts and a lien against the house, then one of the spouses, the guilty party, has to have a nice conversation with the other spouse. Like, listen, this is what's going on. So now both parties have a lien on their credit report showing they cannot use their bank accounts because there's a lien on the bank accounts. On some married couples have joint account and they have their own
Right.
accounts. Well, in
Right.
that situation, all of the accounts are
Right.
having lien on, and that creates a lot of problems because
Right.
at this point you have no money. You have no
Right.
money to pay your bills. You have no money to pay your mortgage. You have no money to
Send your kids to school, do whatever the things that you need to do
yes.
as a family. And it's only because one particular person is in the trouble and the other one is not. So now everything is getting, balled up into one. And when that happens, I would assume then that means, yeah, it basically means nothing can be done. You're really going to be in trouble. Now, you said
Well, there
that,
are things that can be done. That's the whole
right,
point. There are
right,
things that can be done. Now,
right,
if they continue living together and they stay married and they have to tackle them, you know, they have to tackle this problem together.
okay,
But for example, there are certain circumstances. Let's say I had a scenario where they divorced. They were separated. They were going for divorce. So
right,
the wife filed. I help her file innocent spouse relief, and
right,
for innocent spouse relief.
hmm,
And because at that point she had no idea that it was going on.
right, right,
Husband was in charge of the taxes. He didn't tell her that they owe money. She had no idea that was going on until she could not touch her bank account.
okay,
So there are certain circumstances where you know people don't talk to each other, people hiding things from each other. um when there is a divorce, then the other party, they're separated, they live two different lives, right? They have their own lives, and then you cannot move on because you still have the baggage from your ex.
right, right,
That's a lot. That's a lot to
yes,
deal with. So and also there's a situation that I'm facing right now. There's a young widow. Her husband passed. She's there with five of her young children, and she's facing quite large tax bill because they were filing together, and her husband didn't tell her that he was not paying his taxes for the last god knows how many years.
whoa.
So she's really in a deep trouble.
All right, so she's
So
in trouble. So the reason why this generally happens is because one person is not paying the taxes that they would normally be paying,
yeah.
and they are. It is usually like accumulated, and so because of this, they're coming after you with the liens. They're coming after you with enforcement. Does that mean we're sending people to jail? Is that also one of the reasons why you're saying, okay, I want to be innocent? Because the word innocent, like right away, I
Well,
think
innocent because the innocent party is the party that is paying their taxes.
right,
So they are not contributing to a problem. That's why they're
Okay.
innocent. The guilty party, well, if innocent and guilty, the guilty
Right.
party is the one that create the bill, create the
Now,
problem.
now let me ask you this: if neither one of them were paying, say it's a family business, and that's what the both of them work in, and the person who hasn't been paying the taxes because that person is also in charge of financials of the family business, would that also allow you to be separate and say, okay, that's the person who hasn't been paying the taxes, even though both of them work in the same business, is still, are someone still being allowed to be say, I'm innocent?
Well, it, depending,
Okay.
really
Okay.
depending what position that
Thank
innocent
you.
party is in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if there are different situations. If
Yes.
there is a married couple to get running the business together, and they are
Mhm.
both signers on the account.
Okay. So they
Okay,
should have seen
there's
that they
fiduciary,
taxes.
there's fiduciary responsibilities.
Okay.
So you cannot exactly say like I'm here just for the benefits.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised how many marriages are exactly like
Well,
that.
it doesn't exactly work this way. So
Okay, so we understand, we got a general idea of how this could happen. Now, how does someone qualify with the IRS to actually get this and step away? I assume one of the first things you could do is let's get a divorce and be separate apart from each other right away. But
it,
how else?
it doesn't exactly has to be a divorce,
No, it
like,
doesn't.
or although would you want to be with a person who is creating problems for you?
Well,
I'm not
did they do it
saying
on purpose? Yeah, I'm trying to hope. You're giving the person the benefit of the
benefit of
doubt
the doubt.
that you screwed it up, right? I've actually heard of a situation where someone, even though the filing, the number that they put on their tax report to their employer was way higher than the number of people in the household. In other words, there were maybe two or three people who had left the home already, their children, but they still continued to claim for those people. So little was coming out of the person's paycheck that at the end of the year, the government was saying, what happened? Where's our money? These people
You
are,
mean the deductions? They
they
didn't.
claim, exactly, they claim too many dependents, bottom line. And because of they claim too
That
many
happens quite
dependents,
often. That
yeah, yeah,
happens quite often. This is not a crime per se, but
no,
it's gonna catch up with you at the end of the year.
right. And is that a situation wherein two people could also have this innocent spouse?
No,
I really,
no,
no, that's
no,
a
no,
problem. That's
no, no,
something else.
no, no.
That's okay.
No,
Okay, fair enough.
that's not going to qualify. We're talking like really, we're going for pure innocence. Okay, like why? And you have to explain that every case varies.
Yes.
In this
Okay.
in this particular, this is not cookie cutter situation.
No.
Every single situation varies. You have to prove if that you didn't know that was going on.
Okay.
You have to prove that you didn't have access to the funds to pay it, you know, or in a situation as separation or illness that prevent you from being aware of the situation of what was going on. Excuse me.
Okay.
That will help you in to proving that it was not your fault.
Okay. So those are the ways you can qualify. You basically have to prove you didn't have access to the funds, prove that you weren't really the person who was handling the book. What else? Anything else that qualifies
And,
someone for this
and
particular kind of
you
tax
have
relief?
to prove that you paid your own taxes, that you took responsibilities for your own taxes.
Okay.
But then it doesn't work as when there's a people come together, filing together,
Mhm.
doing everything together, and then say, oh, it's not me, it's him. When you
Right.
filing together, you are automatically responsible
Yeah.
for
Because you're both
everything
sides.
that it comes.
Right. Right.
So we have to be responsible for our actions as well. If you're filing together with a spouse, that's what is happening. You are responsible for his or hers um, share of the taxes. Now, my advice to my clients who are self-employed
Yes.
always is do not file together with your spouse. File married, filing separate.
Definitely.
Because with the business, you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
There are always some things here and there that something might go wrong. God forbid, I wish everyone to have very successful businesses, but business is business. There
Sometimes.
are ups and downs.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
sometimes you can go for a certain amount of time and be in the red, and then all of a sudden, fine, it's in the black. But you can go from year to year. I mean, you see big businesses all the time saying, "Hey, we
that's
posted a
correct.
loss this year. Yeah, we
Yes.
posted. I mean, some of them have been operating at a loss for many, many, many years. It's very interesting to see. But some of them are too big to fail, so they have to keep on doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Innocent spouse relief is one thing, but there's another term, injured spouse relief. What does that mean? What is the difference between an innocent tax relief and an injured tax relief?
Well, you're filing together with your partner or with your
Mhm.
wife, right?
Okay, right.
She's supposed to receive a nice refund
Hmm.
where you own a lot of money. So guess what happens to her refund?
Gets snatched up. Right,
So
right,
she gets injured.
right. Okay,
So
yeah.
she is an injured spouse.
Okay, okay. Interesting. All right, very
Yeah.
well. You would think that the government would see it as, okay, you're not doing well, you're not doing well. But I guess, listen, this is an interesting conversation that we're having, specifically because 70 years ago, 60 years ago, maybe even 50 years ago in the 1970s, the majority of households only had one person who was making money. But now, if you've got two people in the home making money, which is generally the case nowadays, that's when this situation might come up. Do you have any idea about the history of innocent spouse tax relief as a as a defense?
Well, it's not that popular.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen that often because it really has to be special circumstances. Like
yeah.
I was successful with my clients in the cases of divorced couples.
Hmm.
Because don't forget that doesn't mean that you file taxes this year and few months later IRS will go and after you and you find out what's going on. Usually the liens are coming 3, 4, 5 years later,
Yeah.
depending. Let's say in the case of divorce or separation, um, the guilty party, let's call them,
Okay.
it's not exactly talking to the spouse saying, "Oh, listen, I have problems." There's not too many. Although I have one client that the wife is helping him constantly with financially, so I admire them how they wonderful they're working together. But usually that's not as happening. So there is no knowledge. The innocent party will have no knowledge of their ex-spouse's problems, especially
Right.
business problems,
Right. The
if they
issue.
were not involved prior to that. So how would they know?
Right. Right.
How
That's
would they know?
okay.
So then you go into the bank and there you cannot take money for groceries because
Your
your
bank,
ex,
there's a lien on your account.
yes,
Right.
or trying to sell the house, or you just living, you paying your mortgage, and suddenly, oh, there is a 120,000 lien on your house because your ex didn't pay the taxes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
But
So
yeah,
things happen, unfortunately things happen. And again, to avoid any problems, to protect your family, to protect, because when you are living nicely, you have nice family, at least one of the spouses should have a good credit score,
right.
right?
Okay.
So protect yourself. With liens, that score will go down.
Yeah.
So if you are self-employed,
Mhm.
protect your family, protect your spouse. Don't file together. Don't file
Okay.
joint.
So that's what
Don't file joint.
your
Marry one
major piece of
separate.
advice is. Definitely file separately if you are a business owner married to someone who is, or regardless, if both of you have businesses, do the same thing, right? If you have both have
Absolutely.
businesses, right. Only if you are, say, working with, both of you are working with a company, are your employees, should you file
Yes.
together? That's what you're saying. Otherwise, it's very interesting you say this because I've actually had a couple of situations where, um, if it weren't for the business, the the tax return would have been so much lower. Like literally, they would have had to pay
Oh,
taxes. So
absolutely.
yeah, the balance is, it is what it is. But I get what you're saying. So now I'm going to switch just for a little bit to the relationship side. This is an issue with couples, man. Money is almost always an issue.
Yeah.
After you've done this innocent spouse tax relief with a family, you've done all the negotiating, and you are apparently like one of the greatest negotiators, because I hear you get things down from millions of dollars down to like tens of thousands, right? So for you to be able to do that and have that happen, but I can't imagine being married to my wife. It's just like, you owe $1 million, what? And then, and then, luckily, after she has that heart attack, after she freaks out, after she throws me outside, I live, I live on the street
Under the
for
bridge.
her bridge like a troll for several months. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry if you are going through this. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to make the
You're
show
showing how
interesting.
sorry you are.
I get it. I do. I really do. But what I'm saying is, uh, after that happens, actually, you employ an innocent tax spouse relief situation. What generally happens to the relationships after? And I mean, if you had 10 clients who do this, this is not funny. Agnes,
Then
don't
you're
laugh.
getting relief from hundreds of thousands and couple of hundreds pounds.
And a couple 100 pounds too. All right, so that's generally what happens. So people get divorced after
There,
this happens.
look, it's not everyone, not everyone.
Okay, okay. All
Some
right, so
people
good.
can, but then I would think that people will be smarter and
Right.
keep their finances separate.
Yeah,
You know,
afterward.
because again, I'm not saying that every relationship fails, in the situations like this, but you have to be smarter. You have to be smarter about your finances, about how you're leading your life, and protect your family. There is also
I
another
get it. I get it.
yeah, there's another relief, innocence relief. Let's say you have a partnership. When you have partnership and you coming into the company, and a company owns a lot of money, let's say from the year
Challenge.
of 2010, and at 2020 you joining company, you becoming a partner.
Okay.
So of course, automatically you are assuming responsibilities for all the 10 years of outstanding taxes. So
Okay.
there is a possibility as well to file a relief for that you're not responsible for the prior, that the 10 years you are responsible from the date that
Okay.
you're coming on board. And then
Okay.
again, there's a lot of paperwork involved, but there are possibilities like that as well.
Okay. So
Prove
that's
that you
the
did
other thing.
no.
I had to ask, what is the process like? Is this a long process? You have to do a lot of paperwork and filing for this.
Well, it used to take from 3 to 4 months. It used to. Now it's much
Uh,
longer with everything because Internal Revenue is understaffed.
oh,
Now they are not, not only Internal Revenue, also New York State. So now waiting period for an answer, it's much greater than before. Now I'm receiving 2 or 3 letters saying, please allow us 90 to 120 days to give
to
you an
even,
answer. And after 90 to 120 days, I'm receiving another letter, please allow us 90 to 120 days answer. And then I'm receiving a third letter. It's tough. It's tough. Each case right now, it's prolonging. Instead of taking 4 to 6 months, it's taking 1.5 to 2 years sometimes.
in the meantime, are you able to get those liens removed? Are you able to get those people's uh, the little relief from the phone calls and the calling and all of that?
The collection process is on hold until resolution is achieved, but the liens
Stay.
stay. The liens
So,
are staying.
so what would happen? Would someone have to be using an account under a different person's name? Would they have?
Ah, no. Usually lien will stay for 3 weeks,
Okay.
and after that is being lifted. If
Okay.
you do nothing, the lien may be refiled at any point of time. When the
Okay.
collection is stopped, the lien is not being refiled, so you can use your account.
Okay. Okay.
Now we will talk about bank liens and everything else in another episode, which is the quite
Right.
interesting subject,
It's so funny. Yeah.
where to know exactly what takes place, how much, and how long, and what is the process. But when with liens like that, at any point in time when you are in collection, but you are starting to working to resolve your situation,
Right.
the collection is put on hold.
Okay. Okay.
Does
So,
it?
ladies and gentlemen,
Does
if you are looking for someone to deal with that, this is clearly this is the person to talk to. Like, so wild. Not only does she understand it from a standpoint of here's what to do if one of you has this problem and the other one doesn't. Here's what to do as far as qualifying for that, right? And then here's what to do if you're injured versus if you're innocent, right? Protecting your family. This is a major. So if someone's looking, right, we're in this problem. I have a problem. I'm married, and I know it's now affecting everybody in my family. I call you first, right? That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm saying to myself that this is madness. Like this is not an easy thing to deal with at all. In fact, ladies and gents, we're gonna make this a nice, short, easy one today this week. If you're looking for someone to assist you with that, you're going to go to nytaxresolutions.com because that is Agnes's site, right? And she is also the sponsor of Love, Death, and Taxes. And I want you to know that if you want to send us an email, you can also send that to mailbag@lovedeathandtaxes.com. If you liked this particular conversation, you want us to continue with it, or you are looking to have us talk about something specific that is bothering you. I don't know. Maybe you have a love problem, maybe you've got a death problem, or maybe you have a specific tax problem like this one, which would also cause this particular problem could cause both a love problem and a death problem.
What to do with irresponsible spouse, your financially irresponsible spouse.
But yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why we have all this stuff together too, because they're so intertwined. These are not things that you can escape.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's fascinating. But yeah, okay. So if they are looking, if you are having this problem, or you know of someone, maybe you've got a sister who's in a marriage, it's weird, or you know of someone who's having an issue. This is the professional you can just reach out to at nytaxresolutions.com because she owns a company called Tax Resolutions bookkeeping LLC and can manage this kind of situation. Become the in-between between you and these tax liens and or the IRS, right? Slow that down. Oh man, this is a hairy one. Like you could talk about this for a little while, but you kind of don't. I can just imagine the issues someone would be going through and like really not want to talk about this and want to leave it alone. And that's the thing. That's really what happens, isn't it? Isn't it a
Yes.
communication problem between spouses that causes this in general? Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that's exactly what the situation is. And we majority of relationships, you will come into relationship and have a kind of assigned duties. One takes care of this, one takes care of that.
Right.
And as a business owner, you don't exactly feel sometimes as discussing everything with your spouse or your partner.
Right.
Some things are difficult to discuss. Some you just think you can handle it on your own. Majority of the times, a person thinks it's okay. I'm not going to worry my wife or my husband. I'm going to
Right.
handle this on my own.
Right.
And then while you're trying to help yourself, you're creating a bigger problem because you can lose a lot more than a couple $1,000, couple $100, or a business. You can lose your family.
You can lose your home, you can lose your family, you can lose the ability to do business. If you are a person who has a green card, send you home. Actually, I know a client who was telling me about another person who was their client who says that person cannot travel because there are liens against them for different reasons. It wasn't for taxes, but it was liens from the government, from the state government, that basically was like, hey, you can't go anywhere because you owe us $20,000. So that person's passport would have been seized on the way out of the country.
Well, state would not grab your passport. IRS can.
IRS
If you own over $50,000, 50 or above, IRS will put hold on your passport.
I'm trying not to say the person's business, but I would assume
that I had a clients where actually they filed together because one of the spouses was applying for a green card, that they got married and they were applying for a green card. Okay. So automatically the person and the sponsor, one of the spouses, they had to apply together. And the person who was brand new to this country definitely didn't know anything about business, or definitely that was not involved in the business of the other spouse.
Right.
And that created a lot of problems, and the marriage fell apart because of that. So can you imagine? Welcome to America. You have to pay $180,000.
You got to know who you're getting married to.
So thank you.
You
very
always
much.
Tell us that.
Yeah.
You always tell us that.
So another way. Thank you very much for your green card. I'm going back home, and you pay your own $180,000.
You handle it yourself, right? Or I mean, sometimes that's the price you pay. I'm not trying to make a joke about it.
I don't think no. I would say no, thank you.
It's not the price I want to pay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much. We've gone over because we're enjoying the conversation at this point. But I got to tell you, this is a rough one. I mean, it touches a few different things. But yeah, this is a rough one. And hopefully, I guess the answer is it can save your family home, maybe your family finances, but only you and the communication that you have between you and your spouse and whatever, that's how it's going to save your family. That would probably be the only thing.
Yes.
Like, you got to come clean and communicate and get this stuff done, be accountable for the issues that you guys have got and make sure that happens. Listen to me sounding all sensible, like the sensible one. You're the sensible one. What am I doing? All right, Agnes. It's good to talk to you. I see you soon. Actually, we're going to be
Yes,
working on something this
yes.
weekend. And you guys have a great evening. Next
Yeah.
week is Thanksgiving.
Happy
I don't
day.
know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if we do a show. Maybe not. We'll figure it out. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. You have anything else to say before we go?
Um,
You good?
Communicate. Communication is the key.
Yeah, is the key. It is. It'll keep you out of trouble.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.